So let's see. So I played sports through high school. Softball, the main one, but again, the thought when you played sports when you were young was to have a love for the sport, to introduce new sports to kids. Um, so I played softball. I played, then went into winter, played basketball, was a point guard for Neshaminy High School. Then I played a little field hockey, but I didn't like it because they didn't have lacrosse then. But I played a little bit of field hockey, but I didn't like because they made me wear a skirt. I hated that, and you couldn't swing. A high stick was right above your shoulder, so it was kind of like,
Yeah.
and they would call stuff like, so I didn't like, and you were always bent over, so I didn't like that. Um, then I got a job at a gym when I was maybe 18, and people really liked my symmetry. I had shoulders, nice waist, big quads, obviously from catching. Uh, and then it was always I always got the argument: Are you a power lifter? Should you be a power lifter, or should you be a bodybuilder? Power lifter, and they would fight. People would fight. Would go, "Oh, she's a power lifter," and so uh, I met a nice young man who was a little younger than me actually. So I think I was like 19. He was 17 and real knowledgeable. 17 years old, and he started coaching me. So I started bodybuilding. If you look online, you know how they usually tell you there's sites where they'll tell you your career, like how many shows you were in. Well, they're missing
Okay.
like the whole body, like where I started, because I was Miss Tri County. I have a bunch of awards, downstairs from when I was young and natural. Didn't take anything, and eventually, um, then I got married. I had two children. Then the marriage fell apart. Um,
Mhm.
and when the marriage fell apart, all I wanted to do was box. I was very upset for months. I cried day after day because it was like losing my right arm. I was very
Yeah.
surprised, and yet at the same time, I thought that, well, I'm gonna get back into what I love because the kids were older, right? So it was time, that I could finally dedicate some time to myself. So I started boxing, and you can't fight a lot of women. There's not a lot of women that'll fight you. So I fought a lot of men, which was perfect because I was pissed. It was it was therapy. Honest to God, it's true.
Don't tell
So
me you knocked. Don't tell me you knocked somebody out.
maybe one or two.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, we had headgear, the whole 9 yards, and it was funny because typically, and this would really upset me. Um, a guy would come into the ring. We'd be all ready. We'd have our headgear on, or we're all wrapped up, gloves on, Vaseline, mouth guard, everything. And the guy at the other corner, we're waiting for the bell to ring, and the guy would go, "I'm not sure if I could hit a girl," and I would go, "Perfect." and
Oh
and
boy.
and it usually took about three really good jabs to the face.
Mm.
I come in and boom, 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 right there. They could hit me,
Yeah.
but you had to make them count because intimidation is a lot of any sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I found that usually it's about three good jabs to the face, and then we could fight. But there was I can't tell you. There was many times I wanted to quit, but I'm just that's just not in my DNA. So I would I would go as long as I could go. And now this was, again, this wasn't like, I mean, we were in a ring and it was serious, but we didn't go,
Yeah.
um, 10 rounds. I think we went 3 rounds, and believe me, that was enough. 3 minutes a round. People don't understand the boxing, the training that goes into that. I mean, we jumped rope. Uh, it was an air conditioned gym. It wasn't cardio boxing. It was serious training boxing, and
Yeah.
I loved it. So I did that for a couple years, and then I powerlifted for many years. I have a bunch of world records and state records. My daughter started to powerlift with me, and she has.
How was that?
It
How
was
was like the power lift?
it was great. It was I loved it. It's very see. I've always been wired like I like the I anything you can do where I would be stronger than a guy was just it would just lit me up. Like I did CrossFit for a while, and I would do the men's prescribed weights, and I would clean and jerk, snatch, all those wonderful exercises, and I loved it. But it's really I love CrossFit. I love the way that the women look, but it's I believe that it's not like you would. Then all of a sudden it was so popular, you started to see people get off the couch and try to do it, and you're like, you have no background. There's so much to weight training and doing it correctly and knowing your body and how it should move to do certain exercises. Um, now you see football players doing Olympic lifts in the gym, high schoolers. But my concern for that is doing it correctly. In CrossFit, you mix weight and speed, and you got to be careful. And I'm the type of girl that I'm wired where my coaches right here, they've been some of the best people in my life, and they know how I'm wired. And they're like, I had my softball coach who I would come up to bat and the bases loaded, and he'd be like, there they are. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
knew he had that confidence in me where if a coach was, you can do it, you can do it, like on me, I would really try to do it.
Yeah.
The problem with that is as you age, um, what I call what I do now with bodybuilding is controlled risk, and women need to understand that you know our bones get brittle. I've never broken a bone. I'm 59, and believe me, I'm not. I'm a tomboy through and through, pretty much, till I put my dress on. But I love being able to talk sports and then wear a dress and look pretty. I like that combination. So I'm sorry, I'm getting off track a little bit. So I ran into uh, my first coach at a
Yeah.
gym local. Now, back then we didn't have cell phones. We didn't. Social media wasn't a thing. So we ran into each other, and then right out of the gate, we were like, "Let's finish what we started." So we started training together, getting ready to compete again. And I competed with him for a couple years, and then I
I'm assuming
realized
this is the 90s.
this by this time it's the 2000s because I raised the
Oh, okay.
kids. I didn't have the kids till in the 90s. I had the kids in the 90s. So
Okay.
when I had the kids, I coached. I coached their teams, and I was very involved in them. I still trained, but not. They were priority.
Yeah.
So then got into powerlifting, then got back into bodybuilding, and I was old. I was older, but it was great. So I stayed with him for a couple of years. His name was Brian Kime, great guy. And then I switched to. I was going through. Um, Anybody that lives near me, there might be stores like this near you. It's called the Q Mart. They're like marts, and they have all little different stores. right? Well, they had like a magazine store. So I'm in there and I go down the naughty area. It's 18 or over, and it catches my eye. I look down and I'm like, that's a bodybuilder. You know what? Why? First of all, why are they on the bottom shelf, right? And it was muscle pinups. So my friend Denise Messino, who I've uh, known for many years, and she is a number one. She's a sexy beast.
Yeah.
Number two, she is the kindest, really good friend. She's we've talked, and many times I don't have anybody to turn to. I call Denise, and she calms me down, and she knows what kind of person I am, and but really nice lady. But anyway, her ex-husband had a little. He did all her photography, or a lot of her photography, for the magazine. So he had a little. His phone number was in the magazine and his email. So I emailed him. Now imagine, okay, that magazine was old, and once the internet came around, it pretty much killed that business.
Yeah.
And then it went, they had to go a different direction and go online. But he responded. So when he responded, I shot with the magazine for many years, and he's my coach. Still is my coach. Matter of fact, I'll talk to him today at some point. But we're very good friends. He's a great guy. So that was um, basically after I was with him. The first thing when I got with him, first thing out of his mouth was, looked at my physique and he said, "Well, you got about you're at least a year out from the stage." I was like, "A year out? Come on, that's a long time, right?" Well, you know what? He was completely right. And one of the reasons why I really liked Robert was that I saw the women that he'd worked with. I saw Denise, and I saw, um, gosh, all you gotta do is look through the magazine, saw all the girls that he had coached,
Yeah.
and they were gorgeous, they were sexy, they were everything that I wanted to be. They weren't over the top, uh, really bad, steroided, ugly faces and um, skin. It was a nice balance, you know. And I can't say enough about him. He was great. I went pro in 2019, um, and competed competitively or professionally. My first year, I should have got a first. I got a second and a third. Uh, then the next year I got an 11th. Well, now COVID was in the middle of that. So then
Yeah.
COVID came in, and then I came back and I got 11th. And then this past year I just competed at the Pittsburgh, and I'm not sure they even knew I
How
was there.
how how was that? Because I seen you compete.
Did you?
What was it? Yeah, I because I was watching it through Always George Page live, and he
Oh,
was
nice.
yeah, he was
Commentating.
showing the masters and commentating
Oh,
the masters and
nice.
stuff.
I love him.
Yeah, I see you like even in your IG, you had your bikini, you looked at nice, and
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what happened with that with the
Well, I think in my interpretation, and again, I'm not going to make any friends, but I had this year for me was tough. I had a lot of anxiety. I went through some depression.
um
Uh, I didn't really like the way that the organization was going. I mean, there's always issues in bodybuilding, and I don't want to sound like I'm. I mean, I knew I wasn't number one. I knew I wasn't
okay.
number two. I knew I wasn't number three. Knew I wasn't number four. After that, I don't know.